On this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, hey, it's the official Howard Appreciation Club meeting. That's right. They're here. They're sharing some love. Kind of. I don't know if I should view it that way. We'll let you decide. But JS is here, and he's bringing a mystery beer, which, if it's anything like last time, I mean, oh boy, it could be interesting. The local geek also joins us. We're going to talk about some, 4th of July plans, some other shenanigans. I work on building a truck. JS works on building something that is probably just hedging the bets of legal. What is this? You're just going to have to watch. You're just going to have to find out. Boy, oh boy, strap in as we talk 4th of July and have a great time. You're in a good place. Welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, pull up a seat, enjoy time with friends.
Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that stands for Truth, Justice, and the American Way. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Howard Blues, I am alive. I'm here. I don't know if, things are going one way or the other, but that's how it goes. So we're here. But I brought backup this week.
I mean, you do this, and, you never usually tell me about it, although I figured this one out. I had a hunch.
It's good stuff.
Okay, I guess I'll introduce him. Joining us this evening, first and foremost, because he was on the call first. That's how I usually do this. But welcome back to the show. The official brewmaster of the Triple B, the local geek, is here with us. Local geek, how you doing tonight?
Hey guys, doing pretty good. It's been a while since I've been on, so it's nice to get back together with you and see everybody again.
It's been a good, 2 weeks. It's been too long. I know it's been longer than 2 weeks. It's a joke because you're here all the time.
I was for a while. It was like every other week.
Oh, yeah. See?
Mm-hmm. And showing his love and appreciation for one particular host, joining us, and I'll probably be cursing his name later, it is the official armorer of the Triple B, but JS Gunslinger is back with us as well. JS, how you doing tonight?
Wonderful, gentlemen. I got a whole table full of things that go boom next to me. I got a whole cooler full of beer, and it's going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. And on that promise of something interesting, gentlemen, we should move immediately into everybody's favorite segment of the show, and that is What's on Tap. So I'm just going to have to say it. But JS, do you want to introduce this thing that we all have?
Well, gentlemen, so we have another round of What's on Tap Mystery Edition. And we'll see how this one goes. I made a promise, and I said I wouldn't bring Four Loko. However, that's all I said.
Well,
it should be. It might not be as exciting as the last one. It might taste better, and it's not 100 proof. So. We'll just go from there. We'll see if you guys can figure it out. I know one of you is going to get it right off the bat, but we'll see if all three of you can determine what it is. I'm actually going to have a different drink because I ran out of wrapping paper doing yours. So I'm going to start off with something different, and then I'll switch to that one.
Okay. So what are you having? Let's build the suspension and get everybody wondering what this is going to be.
I'm going to
just makes
start out with another show first, I believe, because I don't think it's even been in the liquor store very long. But Big Lost, Big Lost.
You got Howard's face in the way. Howard's big face instead of the big lost.
I have Big Lost Wild Man. It is a mead wine. Get medicated. Mead is the world's oldest fermented beverage made from honey. Mead was a favorite of the ancient Egyptians, Chinese, Vikings, Saxons, and just about every other culture that loved to party down and get their pillage on. Our products are flavorful, mellow, and perfectly suited for sipping with a damsel by candlelight or knocking back from a ram's horn before stacking the nearest nunnery. So get your pillage on. Big Lost Meadery, established 2014, no sulfates added, contains naturally occurring sulfites. Apparently there's a difference. This is the Wild Man, other than standard, mead with hops. It is 18% alcohol, and it is made by the Big Lost Meadery in Gillette, Wyoming.
Local geek, Wyoming on the list?
You know, I think Wyoming might have been missing up until this point. That was one of the ones that I was having trouble finding, and it is currently at a 0.
Woo! And I thought I had a glass in here.
Just drink out of the bottle like a classy person from Wyoming. We almost got the full thing through Howard's eyeball.
Man, this stuff is really, really good. I've been a big fan of mead for a long time. I've tried quite a few different flavors of it. It's, most of them are generally kind of the same thing. You get almost like it almost tastes like a sweet, it's a sweet white wine essentially, but you get almost that kind of a red wine taste, but with a honey, with a lot of honey overtone. This one here that's got the hops in it. This one almost adds just a tiny bit of that IPA to it, but it's a really good combination between the honey and the hops that's in there. This one's really good. I'm gonna probably go like 4.4 maybe.
Nice. Darn tootin'.
Mead's one of the items on my list for trying to make at some point. So
I've heard it's easy and difficult at the same time.
Yeah, it's easy to turn into vinegar, but it's not a difficult process to make it normally.
Yeah. Man, I got this one for birthday from the groomer extraordinaire. So
I reckon that's pretty good.
Kidder, what do you got?
I got myself a mustache.
I see that.
It's a nice place, mustache too. Tip of the cap to you. got this here cap. Going in the Wild West here. Let me tell you what, as a silver topped can. That's what this is. I don't know if everybody else is ready for this one either.
I mean,
I'm opening mine.
You might as well just back them at the same time, and
Very citrusy.
I threw my guess into the bottom of the run sheet before I opened this. So.
Interesting guess.
Going off the smell, I don't think it's right.
I don't think it's right either. Well, gentlemen, to us once again, drinking a mystery beer from JS. May we all survive. Cheers.
Cheers.
You'll make it.
I think it's an IPA. I think it's what is he doing? Oh, he's cutting the damn lip off so then he can drink.
Damn tape. Who taught you to use tape, JS?
I can use tape like a master gift wrapper. You should see what happens when I wrap presents.
Yeah, because you know what I love when I drink my alcoholic beverage? It's the gum tape.
It's packing tape, so it's smooth. It's not like duct tape or masking tape. And I had to, otherwise you maybe could have seen what it was.
I will say it's like 100 times better than the Four Loko.
So 100 times 0 is still 0. What did you guess? You put it over in the other one.
I don't know if I have that.
Hard Arizona tea. I don't think it's a hard Arizona tea.
It is not Arizona tea.
I do think it's an IPA. I think it might be the New Belgium. What the hell is it called? The Ranger IPA thing.
It is not an IPA.
Wow.
I don't have the run sheet, so
it's coming to you. Just
okay.
Check your email shortly.
Things take a while on my ancient laptop.
Yeah, it's not an IPA. It's definitely not that. It's definitely citrus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's some grapefruit to it. I'm getting that.
It's more pleasant than an IPA.
I will say better. It is better than the Sunny D vodka seltzer we had on.
Yes.
It is also not a seltzer.
I could tell because this actually has like a decent flavor and doesn't taste like it's watered down. What it is exactly, I don't have a guess, but
it's a grapefruit something.
Yeah,
it is a grapefruit.
I want to say it's the grapefruit rattler, but I can't think of who makes it.
We have a winner. It is
Stiegel. Is that who makes it?
What's that?
Stiegel.
Yep, yeah. Stiegel or Stiegels. Grapefruit rattler.
Well, hey, now I can get rid of a bunch of the
also had a lemonade and a raspberry, but they didn't make it past day number 3. My wife and mother-in-law got into them, and they were really good. See,
good work.
I didn't give you something terrible.
That's a nice looking can.
Yeah,
you can actually see it now.
You 3 got the Stiegels, and those were the last 3 I had. So I have a Polliner grapefruit rattler from Mukin Distillery. Brewed in Germany is this one. Since 1634. 2.5% alcohol. 1 pint, 0.9 fluid ounces. Beer with grapefruit flavor added. Imported by Polliner USA, White Plains, New York. Brewed and filled by Polliner Brewery Gruppe GmbH & Co. Words I don't understand. Munich, Germany, and it is not a Ball Corporation can.
And for those wondering about this rather grapefruit, it is 2.25% alcohol by volume. It is the Stiegel Radler grapefruit product of Austria. Brewed by the Striegel Brewery in Austria, Austria's largest private brewing company, and imported by Winnet 2 Inc., Middleton, Massachusetts. So, yeah.
A nice smooth flavor to it, but low on the alcohol content for this show.
These have been one of my favorites for a long time. They only get them come in 4-packs, and they're kind of spendy, but they're really good. They just taste good. You're not going to get hammered on them, but they're really nice to sip, especially when it's hot. You're mowing the lawn. They come in pounders.
And anytime you're going to be doing a shandy rattler, you're going to lose some of that alcohol content. So
yeah. They like I said, they also
add it in
have,
afterward with some Everclear.
could do that.
that's how you end up with Four Loko.
I didn't think anybody would drink them if they gave them opened cans.
He's not wrong.
I mean, I guess next time I could make some homemade mixed drinks and distribute those to everybody.
No, this
then
is
local
good.
geek would be wanting to fight because he'd be encroaching on his territory. No, the mystery brews are they're my snitch.
I'm not going to go anywhere near the home brew. I'm just going to mix a bunch of shit together in a glass or a bottle and put a cap on it. Here you go. And it'll be like a washed out pop bottle because I'm not that fancy. So
I mean, I've only brought one mystery drink, I think.
it won't be Glendalough.
No.
It might be Everclear. It might be Pendleton. It might be 99 Bananas. You'll just have to wait and see.
I'm glad I got you into that. I guess you got yourself. I was thinking of the Templeton. This is the good stuff that I think you enjoyed as well. Got to get the 6 year. Thanks for the brews. Thanks for the round. There, JS.
Absolutely.
More things change, the more they stay the same.
We'll see what the next round of mystery beers has to offer. Maybe I'll just
local geek.
Maybe I'll go to the local giant liquor store and just close my eyes and just randomly grab things out of the cooler.
It's kind of what Howard and I do normally. So
I'm slightly selective in what I randomly pull out of the cooler. I mean, I try and make sure it's not something I haven't had on the show. Try to make sure that it's something kind of interesting.
I just make sure it doesn't have the 3 letters of doom on it.
All right, I'll go to the cheapest gas station in town and grab it out of the $1.50 cooler.
Oh boy.
Might be a Chelada, it might be a Four Loko, might be a Juiced, it might be an old Milwaukee 800. You never know.
Might be a Steel Reserve.
Ooh, it could be.
Damn Steel Reserves. I'm gonna have to retire from this show.
I've never actually had a Steel Reserve.
I haven't either, actually.
You guys, you opened your mouths. Now look at the wheels turning.
I'm just being honest.
Remember, I make your beer. Just because I don't like IPAs doesn't mean I won't make them for you.
Why are you looking at me? I was pointing at JS because he's got the wheels turning. I'm just sitting here like an innocent host. Don't look at me. I suggested nothing.
I was going to say, not only could the local geek make you an IPA, but he could tell you that I was something else too. So it'd be a surprise IPA. Just yeah. So anyway, gentlemen, we are on the cusp of the holiday weekend. The 4th of July is coming up. And somebody thought that we should talk about 4th of July plans. So, gentlemen, any big plans for the weekend?
Don't really have plans for the weekend, but on the 4th itself, we're going to have people over at our house, smoke some ribs, have some beers, blow stuff up.
Sounds like a good time. Anybody else? Plans?
I was left unattended on the way home today, and I may or may not have made a stop to a local fireworks stand, which I said I was not going to do until the other night. We did a few fireworks, and I got excited. So
what'd you get?
I bought at least one of every Roman candle they had. So I have.
You're not gonna shoot him at the propane tank or something, are you? That's my job.
No. Well, I mean, I won't make any promises, but let's take the filter off here. There we
You're
go.
stuck with my face behind you forever.
If it wouldn't blur me out constantly, I'd leave it there. So we have
cause you nightmares.
We have 2 of these ballistic barrages. We have 2 cyber candles. We have a war machine. We have a neon barrage. Mind you, these are all 150 to, well, the biggest one is 666 shots. So these are the giant Roman candles. We have a 200.
So which one are you going to stick in your butt crack and light up?
We have a neon tracer. We have
he skipped right past that. So
shooters. I heard the butt crack, and
I know you heard it. You just kept going, so it's going to be just a guess.
I've got some tiny ones, but I don't know. We have the giant buster. Maybe I'll stick this one there, and because it's gigantic. And on top of that,
the size of you.
On top of that, then we got a bunch of the normal Roman candles, and then I got some of the secret ones too. The ones they don't put out. And while we're talking here, I'm going to be duct taping all of these together into one gigantic Roman candle, and we're going to have several 100,000 shot Roman candle, and it's going to be pretty epic.
We picked up some just the other night. Took my son out to his first time really going to the fireworks stand to pick out some of his own. So that was kind of fun, and got him some of the more kiddie fireworks, some sparklers. We got super snaps, which I didn't realize until we got home are not the little paper ones that we had when we were kids. They look like a little firecracker, but you throw them on the ground and they pop a lot louder. And
yes, they do.
I wasn't sure he'd be able to throw them hard enough, but he was throwing them right at his feet, and I was afraid he was going to hit himself or spark on himself.
It'll be fine.
And then
I have to shoot bottle rockets at a propane tank. I'm fine.
So what I did is I grabbed a large piece of galvanized steel pipe and then welded a 2-foot spike to it. And I'm going to jam this thing into the ground at a small angle, resembling, a small cannon. And then this is where all the magic is going to happen. You'll see the wonderfulness towards the end here. Currently have it propped in a little tin can inside of a 5-gallon bucket and then leaning against the table so I don't punch a hole in my floor.
So JS, the only thing that I'm requesting you add is when you light that off, that through your mega sound system from wherever, get Jimi Hendrix in on it, make it happen. I need the Tchaikovsky 1812 overture playing in the background while you record this.
That would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Especially while everybody runs screaming because it's shooting all over the place.
I might need some more hands. This could be difficult.
I was going to say, and I know I'm kind of distracted because I'm assembling a truck, but did he say hands or hams?
Well, we get those too.
I will be in need of both by the time I'm done with this project.
Here, this ham's for you.
Yes.
While we're on the subject, I've also never had a hams.
Wow.
Had I known that, I would have stopped by his place before I stopped by your place. You need a hams? Here's the rest of a 6-pack.
Hey,
and then Howard changes his garage code.
Don't take all of them. I literally keep the hams in there to keep my dad from drinking my podcast beer.
If he keeps drinking those on accident and critiquing him, we're gonna have to have him on the show. This sucks.
He'd only last like maybe 2 minutes on this show.
We can
right,
get him
you
some
guys
mystery
have fun.
beer. We can bring him in on another episode of Four Loco Madness.
He wouldn't go for it.
he's not going to do a mystery episode where he doesn't have any idea what he's drinking.
Nope. Listen, he wouldn't be on this show, and I tell you that because like when it does come up in conversation, like his usual take on is, "Oh, you still do that stupid show with Kidder?" So,
at least
What
he
about
supports
90% of the audience thinks too, so.
At least he supports your endeavor.
sure, we'll call it that.
He's wondering when we're going to end it.
I think he's just surprised that we keep doing it.
Mm.
We were out at the ranch for dinner tonight, and he gave me a Summit Extra Pale Ale, which I drank. But he's like, here's some good beer compared to that crap you drink on that show of yours. Thanks. So, yeah. Okay. I think
Did you tell him that crap makes good content, though?
Yeah, I just am quiet about it. I had to
record him tasting a beer, just testing it out, just edit it in. He doesn't have to be on the show.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
all right.
No.
Yeah.
Nice strip of
What
duct
you need
tape.
to do is do that periodically. Is record him trying different beers, and then just make like a compilation, like a half-hour long compilation of his responses to all these different beers sometime.
Yeah, you have to remember, like, if I introduce him to a beer, then, like, even if I know it's a bad beer, right? Like, he just immediately assumes that because I bought it, I must have enjoyed it. So, like, there's the notorious, like, pumpkin spice beer that I pawned off on him. I still get crap for that one. Like, this is the garbage that... Yeah. So... I'm not going to subject him to a bunch of that because I don't want to hear about it. So, that's the truth of it. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how this axle goes on this thing.
We're getting serious here with this thing.
Probably underneath the chassis of the vehicle and either the front or the end. Just
This has been Auto Shop with the Mark Kidder.
happy to help.
I've upgraded my operation kidder. I'm now using a fancy glue pen.
You are cheating. You need to glue your fingers together more.
Why? Why do I need to? I feel like I've done that enough on this show.
It provides us with good comical entertainment and good content for this wonderful podcast.
True, but it makes everybody who tunes into Howard's Cave of Wonder really question my competence at, this whole hobby tab.
Let's be honest. Those people aren't actually watching this show, so they have no idea that happens.
Just blame it on the beer.
I would, except, you know what? JS gave me something that's only got like 2.25% alcohol. And it's like a whole pint of this stuff.
To be fair, I did not know it only had 2.5%. I thought it had more than that.
It doesn't even have 2.5. It has 2.25.
I thought mine was 2.5. Maybe yours isn't.
That 0.25% is going to make a real big difference.
Oh, you're damn right it is.
Well, over that 16 ounces, you're going to get 2.25%.
Yeah, I thought it was higher than that.
In Minnesota, it contains not more than 3.2% of alcohol by weight.
Howard, I think that other one that I gave you along with the shandies, I think that one's a pretty high alcohol if you want to balance it out.
Yeah, but you see, I also didn't bring that one downstairs, and I'm not running upstairs for yet a different beer.
Sounds like somebody needs to bring his fridge downstairs. or get a second fridge.
Yeah, but then when somebody else drops by my house to drop off mystery beer in my fridge, they have to traipse all the way through my house. Bad enough that you now have the code to my garage. You got to change that.
Well, you know me. I'll just come in and I'll.
Kidder, you muted yourself.
Well, I didn't mute myself. I started making finger pistols, and Google's like, "Whoa, censored! You can't have that! Finger pistols on the screen! No!" And then I said, "Secure your house and make sure it's safe, and then notify you that the security sweep has been successfully executed, and the beer has been rescued. You gotta save the damn hostages." Was being held hostage at your place, only having one a week.
Kidder's getting muted. Kidder's getting muted for having finger pistols, and I'm playing with explosives.
Yeah, this show's quite the banger.
It's gonna be It's gonna be God, what's the term? Damn it. Exhibit A in the ATF's case against us.
Well, thanks for looping yourself into
it. The ATF should be a convenience store. They can get.
They can get what?
What?
I'm already on a list. I don't care. They can. Yeah, they can go drink a case of Four Locos of that.
JS, you're on my list.
I'm glad. I'm happy I'm on your list, Kidder.
Howard's like, what is this list? Do I have to be on the list? Do I want to be on the list? He's going over all of his life choices up until this point. I can see the wheels turning.
That's what I do every week, Kidder. Every week.
All right, well, we'll see you later.
Usually it's when I'm editing. That's more when I go. So anyway, let's see. We heard JS's 4th of July plans. We've heard from the local geek. I don't have 4th of July plans, so I really can't contribute. I'm sure something will come up by the time that comes around, but right now I got nothing. So
you know, Howie, what you should do is you should get the Oscar Zero missile facility to do a mock launch out of their missile tube there, and that could be our 4th of July celebration.
I mean, as cool as that would be, to put those doors back would be quite the feat, because those doors weigh, I think they're like 7 tons each. So
JS has a tractor for that.
I got equipment for that. We can make that happen. Let me know when and where.
Hey, I got some bad news about Oscar Zero. Not to bum everybody out, but I mean, I think it's stupid, and so I'm going to talk about it. So anybody who's been a longtime listener of the show, you know that we have been trying to acquire a Huey helicopter to go on the site. And this has been quite the process, because we have to talk to the National Museum of the United States Air Force, and they're the ones who loan it out. And they have the perfect helicopter for us. It's a Huey helicopter that actually served in North Dakota, and so it's even got some really kind of interesting history there. It was a replacement for another helicopter that served out of Grand Forks that actually crashed. So we have a nice, there's story to tell for this piece. And when they first offered it to us, we looked at it, we thought about it, we said, yeah, we'd be interested. And they're like, great, you got 30 days to get it off of the premises. Well, 30 days to come up with, a trucking company to haul it, a crane to lift it off the truck, somebody to assemble it. Once it gets up here, it needed paint, and the budget to pay for all of this. No way we could do it in 30 days. We told them that. So they're like, well, okay, sorry. maybe next time. And the person who we were talking to told their board that, and the board said, well, no, let's give them time. How much time did they say? We told them, give us a year. We can raise the funds, have everything set up. And so they said, sure, give them a year. So we've been working on this thing for a year. My site supervisor at Oscar Zero has done a fantastic job, keeping track of where we are with funds and what this thing is going to cost and everything we need to do to pull this thing off. And we should have had it last winter, but that first snowstorm that came through in November stopped us from getting it because we couldn't put it up during the storm. So then we thought we'd get it this spring. But here's the deal. During the winter, the company that houses all of these planes, helicopters, all this Air Force equipment got new leadership, and this new leadership decided that whenever a piece is going out to a civilian organization, that it needs to be demilitarized. And while they normally just swallowed the cost of that, no more, the borrowing agency has to absorb the cost. Now, the National Museum of the United States Air Force said, no, we'll pay for it. And it has started this battle between the two organizations where they are fighting over who's going to pay to demilitarize this thing. They haven't talked to us. At the time of the recording, gentlemen, this is the last day of the biennium, and we could have had money to this, but we haven't even been able to get them to give us a price on this. So right now, the helicopter is in limbo, and I can't guarantee that it's going to be here anytime soon. So that's the big disappointing news, is that we're still not getting our Huey.
Oh, I am very disappointed. One phone call, I could have been in the truck tomorrow and coming back with a Huey. So,
I mean, it's disappointing. Our friends group up in Cooperstown is upset because there were a lot of local people who donated to this to get it, help us get it. There are grants that we applied for that come due in October, so it's a bit of a mess, real bit of a mess.
I mean, if you just needed a trucking company to go get it, I mean, I probably could have arranged that.
I mean, it wasn't so much like we have the trucking company. There's a local company up there that was like thrilled, and like they were charging us like a very, very minimal rate to go get it. I can't say what exactly they bid, but or told us or quoted us, but it was about half of what the next closest company quoted us to move it. So that hasn't been an issue. Like, we have a trucking company to do it. Wow. Right now, the problem is really it's on between these two organizations figuring out who's going to go pay for, or who's going to pay to demilitarize this thing.
I mean, they just want me to take some engines and some really old technology out of the thing. I mean, that is very doable.
Unfortunately, some of it is actually radioactive material.
Yeah,
apparently.
it's not that bad.
Just saying. That's what we've been told. It's one of those things. What I kind of tell people is, it's we're still working to make this happen. And especially because we're also working on a military museum here in Bismarck with the National Guard. And part of that is our executive director wants us to get a B-52.
Yeah, that might be a little more difficult.
Well, it would come from the same organizations. So,
yeah, if you got all the B-52s together again, maybe they could sing their classic hits like Love Shack or perhaps Rock Lobster.
I knew you were going to say Rock Lobster. Where's my drink?
I'd be a pretty good showing.
Hitter, any 4th of July plans for yourself?
Well, Money in the Bank is tomorrow at 3:00 in the afternoon because they're in London. Also, going to the family cemetery and doing a little cleanup and putting flowers out. And of course, on the 4th itself would have been Grandma's birthday. And so we'll remember her and watch some fireworks. Other than that, not working, maybe a little trucking, and kind of getting mentally prepared for my other grandma's funeral.
Yeah, I saw your post about that. My condolences, man. That's tough. Tough to hear.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's always one of those things where you think you have enough time for everything and everything else gets in the way and time slips away and suddenly there's no more time left. And all the stories and knowledge is no longer here. Just kind of a rough time of the year, but we're moving on, doing what we can. Cheers to the memory and knowledge and missing all of those who we have loved and lost.
There you go. Well said, Kidder. Well said.
I would have cheers, but I'm empty.
And I am now empty as well. And so that means to carry on the cheersing and celebration, we need more beverages. So, Local Geek, what's your number 2?
I was going to ask you that.
Ha!
Are we doing a shandies or just whatever we got in the fridge?
So,
Just up for it.
Save the shandies for another show, and I'll go grab something from my fridge here.
We could do that.
This thing is getting quite ridiculous. I will say, I'm not going to lie. This is getting quite out of hand with this contraption I'm making here. There are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's so far 18 Roman candles strapped together to the end of this pipe here. And we're adding more.
yeah, JS, I would have given you more credit if you had counted it in the classic Sesame Street tune.
1, two,
No. I was going more for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It's been a little while since I've seen Sesame Street. I forgot about the counting.
How do you forget about the counting?
Because I haven't watched Sesame Street in about 2 years. And I've now been stuck with some of this other god-awful television that my daughter has found on the depths of the Roku. I would much rather she watch Sesame Street and some of that garbage, but every time I come in there, that's on again. So it's this, I don't know, TV show where it's this dad and his daughter and their son, and they just like play with stuff at their house. She loves it. I think it's annoying. But what do I know?
I took 2 trips this week, and one of them was with our head of security, And it was kind of funny because apparently on the way back, his wife called him or texted him and said, "That's it. I'm fed up with the kids. We've had enough technology for today." And so he's like, "Okay." And from his phone, he turned off and locked all of their phones and the internet in his house. And for the next, 30, 40 minutes, it was all of his kids, one by one, calling him to figure out what was wrong with the internet and their phones. It was kind of entertaining.
See, that's the kind of dad I want to be, but I'm not good enough with that type of stuff yet.
I can help.
I do know some people. That is correct. I do know some people.
Come on, you damn tire. There we go.
And I know that local geek will help you too.
Absolutely.
I did go down the, I don't even know which kind of rabbit hole we want to describe this as, but the government spying, plane tracking, drone tracking rabbit hole the other day and listened to a 2.5 hour YouTube thing about Signet and how to set up and establish essentially your own private radar from nothing but a laptop that you can run anywhere, anytime with no internet connection and monitor any and all air traffic around you, along with communications, radio communications, law enforcement, police, fire, all that other good stuff, kind of all at the same time.
You having a grapefruit shandy there, Kidder?
Is that the one we're supposed to have?
If that's what you guys want to do. I grabbed something else, but I can go.
Well, what'd you grab?
I grabbed a Living in Arabica, and then I realized that it's probably a mistake because it's a coffee brown ale. The description of it says grind to grind, coffee infusation, Living in Arabica, roast to roast, best experimentation, Living in Arabica, gotta have the caffeination.
Is that this thing that you gave me?
No, that's something else for you. This one came from one of my friends who went up to Canada, so it's from Winnipeg, from a brewery up there.
Oh boy.
Oh, excuse me.
The alcohol percentage is going to be in metric.
It's actually
It's 38.2 beaver percent.
It's 5.5%, although the volume is in metric. It's 473 milliliters.
What is this all about?
It's just a fancy way of saying it's 3/4 of a boot.
It also says beer in English and I'm assuming French. I don't know if it'll focus so you can read that.
Pierre? The Pierre, like it did the honey.
So local geek, where'd you get this one from?
My wife bought me a 4-pack of that at one of the local liquor establishments in town, and so I had one, and I gave one to you, and one to Howard, and one to another friend of mine.
Well, thanks. It's from Decorah, Iowa. Not the first Iowa beer, and probably not the last.
Not the first Toppling Goliath beer either.
Yeah, Toppling Goliath, and
I had one early on in my tenure of joining the show, and was not a fan of it. So that was their s'mores, whatever they called it. I can't even remember the name of it.
So according to the description on the back, the Morning Latte is an imperial coffee milk stout brewed with lactose and a careful blend of cacao nibs and aromatic coffee to emulate an iced mocha latte. This delicious beer asks you to slow down, pour a glass, and enjoy the moment. So, aside from most of what else is on the can, the slow down and enjoy the moment seems the best to take right now. So let's give it a shot.
That other toppling Goliath I had was on episode 45, and my comment was, you get hit with the bite of alcohol right off the bat.
Wow, that's pungent. I have it sitting right here in front of me on the desk, and I could smell it. Howard, I got your iced latte right here.
You mean this thing right here that I had to go up and get? Because, Howard tried to be prepared and ask you guys, what do we have on the show? I've now exchanged all the beer that I brought down here with other beer. I've had to go up, try to not wake the kids, stumbled through the obstacle course of Tolles.
Think of it this way. 2 positives for you. 1, you're getting your steps and exercise, so we're looking out for your health. Number 2, that was in the fridge chilling the entire time, and so it's going to be at its optimum chilled temperature so you can enjoy it to the fullest of its full ability.
I'm
welcome, Howard.
I'm going to be honest with you, Kidder. I actually enjoyed that one more as it warmed up. I don't know if it was because of the alcohol content of it or because it tasted better as it warmed, but
it's very abrasive.
that's a good way to put it.
Just bam! The last time I had an iced coffee, I mean, I don't drink the lattes, but last time I had an iced coffee, it wasn't like bam, bam, bam in the face with everything. It was more of a, hey, good morning, helping you through your day. Gonna watch JS blow some shit up.
That's more how this living in air bike is. It's a nice, gentle patch on the back, wake you up. I'll give this living in air bike a 4 out of 5. It's really good.
I'm sure
that's a lot higher than the last. That's a lot higher rating than the last coffee I had on the show. I think that was gas station coffee from the snow removal episode, and it tasted like paint.
That's because you got your gas station coffee from a Sedex instead of getting it from a Holiday. Because everybody knows Holiday has the best gas station coffee.
You are correct, Howie. I will agree with you on that.
How do you guys not have a sponsorship yet?
Nobody calls us. It's on the website, beerbluesbs.com. Click contact us. You can have your logo up here. You can have your name up here and be scrolling across the bottom. Just like $1,000 a month. Bam! It's the entry level rate. Think of it. Thousands of views a year will get you dozens of people stopping into your store. What, Howard? Why smirk? What? I'm laying it out.
Yes, you are. I was just
doing what I can.
Just about to try this coffee that I'm sure you ran down all of the stuff on the can. Yeah, and such. So
it's there for you.
Whoa.
The look on his face.
That is
you were here for what I called it, right?
That is not the thing to follow up a grapefruit radler with.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I don't know that it's the thing to follow anything.
That's why it's a morning latte. You roll out of bed and have one of those and then go back to bed because you realize you made a mistake.
That was a content beer right there. I'm sorry.
That is instant regret in a can. Oh.
You heard what I called it, did you not?
No. You had done all of that before I got back down here.
Okay.
I'll see it in that
tastes, it tastes abrasive.
Oh.
I kind of want to pour half of it and give it to JS.
Oh.
I'd be up for that. I like coffee beer, so I like kind of anything that's got coffee in it.
Oh,
This firework contraption here is kind of getting out of hand.
you've already said that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to see what this thing looks like here in a minute, and it's kind of terrifying looking.
I'm sure. I'm just saying, like, you're gonna kind of come up with some more descriptors than just it's out of hand. Like it's off the chain.
Well, he can't hold it. It's clearly out of his hand.
It's on the loose.
This is very much above my current weight restrictions that I'm supposed to be lifting right now. And then there's another giant one that goes inside of this thing.
Put that some bitch down before you crack another rib.
It is going to be epic.
We should be watching you assemble that in the garage so you can hook up the forklift to it.
Oh, this thing's got to be close to 100 pounds by now.
I just want to say we missed the golden opportunity when he was holding that there. He needed to drop like a Schwarzenegger line.
Yeah.
As he's sitting there holding it like a chain gun, something like "I'll be back" or any of the classics.
Pick your favorite, like
get to the chopper.
Yeah, see, there we go.
I was kind of hoping that it would be the "Who is your daddy and what does he do?"
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Or
usually in the mornings when I drop my son off at school, it's get out of the pickup,
get out now,
at the top of my lungs, while all of his classmates are as well filing into the school. It's a good time.
What are you doing?
Oh, there you go. We're gonna go with round number 4 here, and we're gonna go with a kokanee for round 4.
Sorry, that came out of nowhere. Just like ah.
And are these twist offs or are these pop tops?
Supposed to be twist.
That ain't bad. It's a very light beer. I will say there's no doubt about that. It's a very light beer, but that's pretty good.
I like the caramelized kind of notes to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It is kind of Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Lite-esque. It kind of has that flavor, but it doesn't taste like tranny fluid. So I'm not drinking ATF.
He's just DTF. Down to firework. That's what he is.
I can kind of get that little bit of caramel flavor. I mean, I get the grain. It almost tastes like a rice beer. It almost tastes like it's brewed with rice, but I don't. I'm probably wrong. I'm sure it's a grain beer, but
so local geek. I don't know if I can make it through the rest of this. Each sip is giving me more and more of a kick in the back of the brain. Like
I won't be offended. I don't think I finished mine either.
It can't be that bad, kidder.
It's pretty bad. They went really heavy on the lactose sugar on it.
Oh, that stuff's lactose sugar is terrible. My wife brings home some kind of it's a certain brand of milk that uses a liquid sugar in it for the chocolate milk, and it tastes terrible. It might be True Moo, I believe, and I think it's the sugar that they use to do it with.
Could be. I know that Imperial that I did, it had a fair amount of lactose sugar in it too, but it's not near as sweet as this one is.
Oh, how do you sell this crap? I mean, who brews this? Looks at it, takes a swallow of that, and goes, "Yep, let's can that stuff and put it out."
All right, boys, here's our next mill right here.
Those darn Iowans.
I mean, I was thinking the damn IPAans and so many craft brews like a Coors and a Coors right.
I had a similar complaint about the other one from Toppling Goliath. So.
It's the hipsters and their fake flannel and skinny jeans. It's they're the ones that are doing it.
Yeah.
I wear the flannel to appear like they work and they actually know the outdoors, but really they're just cold because they have no body fat.
Jake, are you going to finish?
The tofu doesn't allow for them to. The tofu does not allow for them to actually gain body fat. Instead, they just slowly wither away into just this little eternal abyss that is themselves. And have I told you I don't like hipsters?
I was going to start going back to the B-52s and call you the Hot Pants Explosion.
Well,
and you're referring to the Deadbeat Club.
That sounds more like an episode of something we did in college, but
Hey,
good stuff.
Speaking
Party
of
out of bounds. Speaking
college, as I try to stop Kidder's constant B-52 references.
It's okay. We're gonna roll up the Grand
It's as big as a whale.
We're setting sail in the Love Shack, baby.
Yeah, Kidder, you sent me a post about our fine school, UND, and some of the changes that are going on campus.
It's pretty depressing, really.
I as well saw that and thought the same thing. I was unaware that they had demolished West and McVeigh already.
Yeah, and rebuilt the sumbitches.
I didn't even go down university the last time I was in Forks. But now I'm kind of wishing I would have. But at the same time, I probably would have been quite upset.
Yeah. I don't know if Kidder's pulling up the article. But to kind of summarize, it was an article basically from the Alumni Association letting people know that I believe it was starting either this week or soon.
It's already happened.
Anyway.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm trying to report this while also chugging this. Well, not chugging, but trying to get through this morning latte. Because, damn it, I'm not a quitter.
You should just chug it and be done with it.
I don't think I can do that. There's too much in it right now for me to do that.
I would throw this up all over everything.
We have faith in you, Howie Blues. You can do it.
Your faith is misguided on this one. Anyway, it's already happened, but they are tearing down more of the old dormitories up at UND as they continue to work to rebuild them. So they are right now working on Squires, Walsh, Hancock. I might be missing one. The conference center is coming soon. I said,
yeah. So new McVeigh Hall was built where our McVeigh Hall was and was opened in October of 22. The new West Hall has been complete or is nearly completed, will open this fall. Brannan Hall went through a huge renovation and will still be maintained as it kind of was. Hancock Hall opened in 1953 and was the first building to be completed in the Walsh complex. That's gone. Beck Hall, which opened in August of 1957, was the second building of the Walsh complex. And the original person it was dedicated to, William Beck, came to UND to teach German and was recognized for his ability to connect with students as a freshman mentor. Let's see. It was destroyed during the 97 flood and the space was converted into a fitness center, which opened in 2002, and then in 2017, it was turned into a large recreation and event space. Walsh Hall opened in 1959, and in 1963, the second edition was finalized and was dedicated in 1962. Squires Hall was intended as a replacement for Princeton Hall. The building was completed in 1963. It was initially named Princeton Hall, like the one it replaced, but renamed Squires Hall in 1964. The building included the cafeteria, capable of serving 1,500 people each meal. Squires Hall, named after Vernon P. Squires, who came to UND to teach English in 1897 and originated Founders Day in 1904. Squires was also part of a student faculty committee which adopted the Latin motto Lux et Lex as the UND emblem in 1908. And as Howard mentioned, Conference Center, which we do remember, where Diane was the hall president for a while there. It belonged originally to the Delta Zeta sorority from 1926 until 1985. In 1985, UND purchased it and renamed it Conference Center. After the purchase, it was used as an all-female residence hall until 2015. Beginning in the fall of 2015, Kappa Delta leased the building as their first home on the UND campus. Now they are gone. They're out of here. They're done. The question remains, what'll happen with the skywalk that connected Johnston, Fulton, and Squires and Hancock? You know, it's like the main skywalk across university. Unknown right now. But yeah, the buildings are toast. They're gone. I was really hoping for many years that McVeigh would have had air conditioning, but
and working internet.
Our internet worked just fine. It just wasn't wireless. We all played Halo on the local LAN.
That was like the main reason I went. I think I was in because West had it too.
Yep.
I heard that West had that, and I was very excited because I had started to get into the things called video games, and yeah, that was a good time. There was a lot of Mountain Dew fueled escapades. Yeah, rage, exactly. Mountain Dew fueled rage is very much more descriptive.
Fun fact, Mountain Dew is North Dakota's #1 selling Pepsi product.
You can see that.
Yep.
I can
Number
see it
one
for
in my
water
heart.
states.
I don't want that Pepsi junk.
I always used to play my gamer tag in the network was always Michelle. So he'd constantly be getting, who's the chick?
That's we have a buddy who his gamer tag is it who, and it was for the same kind of thing, you know, just for people to go, who's that?
It who?
It who?
Who's it? It who? What? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yep. I mean,
you may remember Leroy Jenkins.
Yes, I do remember Leroy Jenkins.
I mean, you remember the video, the famous World of Warcraft screen cap going into one of the dungeons, and then Leroy Jenkins, and then just jacks up the whole instance. But one of our friends had the gamer tag of Leroy Jenkins and then a number for about 5 years. And he got tired of having all these weird people wanting to be his friend because, oh man, it's Leroy Jenkins. Yeah. So he changed his gamer tag again.
I've since changed mine too, but it's okay. I don't play a whole lot anymore, so it's not a big
Michelle
deal.
2023.
Yes. You found me, kidder.
Using my investigative skills.
Right.
Hey, see, he went on the internet and looked at the Xbox. I found him.
So speaking of explosions, did anybody hear the explosion on Thursday morning?
Nope.
No.
Saw what it was, but no.
My wife heard it. I wasn't home, so I didn't hear it.
They demolished the old Heskett plant on Thursday morning. The old one that was sitting down by the river. They blew the main building and the last stack that was there. 7:30 in the morning, and I was there the day before working on some equipment and got to know some of the guys and had an idea when it was going to go, but they were pretty secretive about when exactly it was going to go. For some reason, I don't really understand, but
Amanda and Fire posted on Facebook that they tried to keep the time under wraps because they didn't want a bunch of looky-loos.
yeah, well, see, they did that, and they also forgot to notify the refinery next to them when they detonated that. Apparently, it set off multiple alarms in the facility, sent most of the workers scrambling for cover because they thought something at the refinery exploded, and no one knew what the hell was going on. You would think if you're going to detonate 300 pounds of dynamite right next to a fuel refinery, you would maybe think about telling them.
No.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if people knew, you would have had a whole bunch of people out there wanting to look and.
Yeah, and I do understand. I mean, I do understand. They didn't want a bunch of people there, whatever. But at the same time, it's pretty easy to keep people the hell out of there. I mean, you put up some stuff across the road and they ain't getting in. And it's not exactly easy to get to Heskett plant. There's only one way in there, so you block off that road, they ain't getting in.
But you'd have people finding ways, to like, oh, here's a overlook where I could see it. Here's a spot.
Yeah.
Or people flying drones in or things like that too.
Well,
Yeah,
that
local
problem would
geek.
take care of itself real fast.
Local geeks over there like, it wasn't me.
Truthfully, with things like that, I do wish, and again, I know I work for the State Historical Society. It would at least have been cool if they would have let us know, because it'd be nice to have that footage in the archives or available to others to.
There is a video of it. They did a really good job. I'll give them credit. They did a really good job of videotaping it. So, I mean, they had drones flying up the whole time and they had video on the ground, and I will give them credit. They did a really good job of actually recording it and filming it. However, I'm 15 miles away from that. We're outside trimming the hooves on the horses, and I heard it quite distinctively. So I can imagine what it sounded like in Mandan or right across the river in Bismarck.
My wife said it shook the house.
I can imagine. But I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything posted on it. Granted, I'm not on all the Facebook pages and whatnot, and I don't really pay attention to most of them anyway, but I didn't see anything actually posted that, hey, we're going to demolish this building on Thursday. We're just not going to tell you when. So if you hear a giant explosion, it was us. Don't call 911. You're not going to die, but, it's just us blowing something up.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably had their fair share of those calls too.
Yeah, I can imagine half of Mandan probably called 911 at the same time going, something just shook my house and exploded. But,
Yeah. Dispatch probably took all of their coffee breaks right around that time. Like, we're just gonna step out for a little bit.
They were probably trying to drink some of these and then decided that taking the phone calls was actually better.
Reminds me, I'm due for another sip of this thing. Ugh.
polish it off. You can do it, Howie.
Not working on it.
The sooner you drink that one, the sooner you can have a good beer.
No, that's my last beer for the night.
Or nobody would call you for pouring that one down the drain and having something better.
I thought you were. I didn't think you were parent in charge this weekend. I thought you were able to have a couple.
I'm not parent in charge, but I still try and limit it to 2.
6.
That's I'm not. Kidder can attest to this. I am not that big of a drinker.
But it's for science. It's for the show.
Listen, I have my limits, man. I will fully admit I'm a bit of a lightweight, and that's okay.
We'll make sure the next time you get to have 2, it's 2 Four Locos.
No, never drinking that again.
And Howie is the first one to break the language barrier.
I'm making that quite clear. Never again.
You having water there, Kidder?
Yeah.
Weren't you giving me crap about that a few weeks ago?
Maybe. I don't know. Carry on.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
I'm just about done wiring up my masterpiece here. I bought some Canon fuse, so I'm wiring all of these together with Canon fuse, so I don't have to have my face anywhere near this thing while I'm trying to light this with a torch.
Good call.
Nice. I got most of the front end of the truck done, and the cab, so doing pretty well.
What
I'm
kind
not.
of truck you making?
Where's the lid? You'll see on next week's episode, but this is what I am building.
Cool.
Yeah.
Late 40s cab over International, maybe?
It is the white Fruhoff gas truck. And I have the choice of painting it in the Sinclair style, or they give you the decals that you could make it an army truck. I need to figure out which style I'm going with. So whether it's the Sinclair stuff or whether I want to, and the army stuff is kind of hard to see, but you can see kind of the white star. So I had to figure that aspect of this out. So,
but you do like a Jekyll and Hyde, do one side Army, one side Sinclair?
Okay, I could, but the thing is, like when I do a model kit like this, there's usually a desire to be able to use it within gaming purposes. So I want to keep it to what could be an actual truck, but I need to decide Army or Sinclair. If I go Army, then I get all these sweet Sinclair decals if I ever wish to like make up a gas station or such.
What kind of gaming would you use a Sinclair gas truck?
Zombie apocalypse.
I'm out of the loop here. I don't know.
There are various tabletop war games and such that you could play. So, Local Geek mentioned Zombie Apocalypse. I do own the Walking Dead tabletop skirmish game. So that would be a one I could use. Being that this is a 1940s truck, if I did it in the Army style, it would fit within a World War II game, such as, oh gosh, why am I going to blank on both of them? Flames of War, or the one that's actually the right scale. Future Howard, bail me out. So there's different games like that. Either way, Marvel Crisis Protocol would also fit, although this is maybe a little off scale for that. But that would be one if I wanted to play Marvel superheroes. So a couple different games.
And these are all board games?
These are what are called tabletop war games. So basically you have your army of figures and you go up against somebody else's army of figures and kind of battle in tactics. And
so you're playing a fancy version of Risk.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. When I do model kits like this, I want it to be able to serve as terrain for said game. So that way it's dual purpose. I get to have a cool truck that I will put behind me as set decoration because I'm doing it on this show. And then also I can put it down on the table and it's now something I can use. So
I used to have a model of the USS Constitution, but I think it might have been a Constitution anyway. But I opened it up and attempted to I made 2 pieces together and got overwhelmed because there was 3,000 pieces in this damn model. And I was 15.
Have you seen the Constitution in person?
I have not, actually.
It's an impressive boat. That was actually one of my highlights when I went to Boston. And before I went, I had no idea what it was. I just looked up things to do in Boston on the internet, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds interesting." And it was one of my favorite things I did.
I read quite a few articles on the history of it and whatnot on it, but never gotten to see it. I've never actually been out to the East Coast and been able to spend any time there. So I get kind of jealous. My wife's been there 3 times now for grooming at expos, and I haven't gotten to go.
Kidder and I saw it when we were on our band tour senior year.
Ooh, you nerds!
I think my favorite part when I saw it was my belt that I wear. I have a gun belt that's got a steel band around the back of it for support that I wear as my everyday belt. So when we went there, of course, it's on the military base, so we had to go through the metal detectors. And I forgot to take my belt off. That set it off. They go, "Are you wearing a belt?" "Yeah." "Okay, go ahead." I could have had my belt, could have been carrying my gun on there or whatever. And
I just like the fact that I'm literally assembling a model for a tabletop war game, which I just explained to JS. And the fact that I went on a band tour is what makes me a nerd.
Models are okay. You start getting into the band tour. I was a band kid as well, so
I just had to call it out because it was funny. It's literally just explained wargaming, and now it's but oh, you play the trumpet? That's
Our band was too poor to do much of anything. Our biggest trip was we marched around the town I grew up in and did some marching band. That was it. All right.
We marched all over the place, wouldn't you say, Howard? We marched in Boston. We marched in New York City. We marched at the Statue of Liberty. We marched onto the USS Independence. We marched onto the United States Capitol grounds. We marched the Carnegie Hall. We were there. Where else were we? Denver. We went to Denver. We've taken half the country.
Texas, San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, you were on that one. I didn't go.
That's where I met that's where I met my wife. Yeah.
My monstrosity is complete. The giant barrel in the middle will have the 600 shot Roman candle in it, but I'm gonna stick that one in after I shove this thing in the ground. But she's all wired and ready for some fun. There are 32 Roman candles that are daisy chained together on a 25-foot section of cannon fuse. Probably gonna cut that down to 6 feet or something like that and light it and run like hell. So I have some more cannon fused for the next endeavor. But yeah, I'll do a little bit of math here in a minute to see just exactly how many shots this thing is supposed to do.
JS is doing his math. I ran out of beer, so I ran over to the fridge and got myself a nut job.
You keep them in your fridge, man. I lock mine in the basement.
Says a beer like this doesn't take a genius to figure out. Beer means peanut butter cup. Drink your dessert, or we will. It's from the Rhombus Guys Brewery in Grand Forks. It's 5.7 ABV and 12 ounces. And there is not an indication on the can of who makes the aluminum, so it's probably underneath the label that they stuck on here. Boy, this guy is dark.
That is dark.
Look how dark that is.
Holy cow.
Oh, it's very chocolatey.
Ooh,
Very
really?
chocolatey. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
You would like this, JS.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What was that called again?
It was called Nut Job.
Nut job. Ah. Okay.
And it kind of tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
So, Kidder,
Mm.
I may have made a mistake this last weekend.
Just this last weekend, or is just a continuation?
Just this last weekend. You see, if you recall, last weekend we had on Saturday, like just torrential downpour, like all day, like nothing but rain. Well, the thing is that I have been so busy before that like my lawn was in like desperate need of cutting. Like it was wild, man. It needed a good cut. And it just so happens Lefty was having some back spasms due to a fall she took. So she ended up staying home, and I'm like, great, it's Sunday, the wife's home, I'm going to go out and mow. My lawn wasn't quite dry, man. Laid some pretty good tire marks through it. Yeah.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, Howard. You remember the last time I was on the show was shortly after our hailstorm that we had, and my shed took the brunt of the hail.
Yes.
I discovered after all that rain that we got that my duct tape patch job was not quite sufficient. There was a lot of water in my shed. So I've gone back over, found the major holes, and gotten those patched with some flex tape for the time being. Hopefully that's going to hold a little better. But
yeah, that kind of was your first mistake to not put the old flex tape on and going with duct tape.
yeah, I didn't have the flex tape at the time. My dad gave me what he had left of a roll, so I was able to patch the big holes, and gonna have to buy myself a roll of it to finish the job. But
Yeah.
But then on the lawn mowing topic that you brought up for Father's Day / our anniversary / probably Christmas, my wife got me a new lawnmower. So I got one of the Ego battery powered lawnmowers. I'm fairly impressed with it so far. My only complaint is the battery life isn't quite what I was hoping it would be. It takes about 2 full charges to get my entire lawn done, so I'll have to pick up an extra battery for it.
I looked at those when I was buying my lawnmower, and it just so happens that the gentleman who lives just kind of kitty corner from me, who I've known for a long time, actually, he has one of those, and he told me, like, oh yeah, the battery on it is just enough to do my lawn. And so I went over and I kind of looked at his lawn and looked at mine, and did a little Google math, earth measuring, and I'm like, no, it's not going to be enough to do my lawn, so that's why I went with a gas. But I'm hoping one of these days, as electric vehicles and electric mowers and such get better, to eventually get one. I do have an electric weed whacker, and I love it.
Nice.
It's great.
That's on my list after I got this mower as one of the weed whackers too from them, and Like I say, I'm pretty impressed with the lawnmower as far as capabilities, and the second battery is going to be enough to get me through another mow. But those batteries are pretty spendy, so.
Yeah, and that was kind of just my thing. It's like it would be nice because I would enjoy a lot less sound, so like I could listen to a podcast or such while I mow.
Yep, that was one of my selling points. And then I have a coworker who just absolutely swears by the Ego products. He's got the lawnmower, the weed whacker, the chainsaw, and the snowblower, and he loves every single one of them. So he's got tons of batteries, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But
yeah, my neighbor who I mentioned was looking at getting a snowblower for it, just so that it would be a little bit lighter for him to go through. So
yep.
Yeah.
My coworker is in Sioux Falls, but he said when they got their heavy snowstorm last winter, him and his wife took turns snowblowing their pretty decent sized driveway that they've got and cycling the batteries in and out on the chargers while the old ones were charging. And he said he never had any issues pushing the amount of snow they had. So,
Kidder, how's your lawn doing? How's it looking? How's it?
Front half is fine. The back half is about half.
You got a little mullet going on?
Kind of. It just has some issues.
Oh.
Yep. I think it just needs some more dirt, a little extra something, but I also don't want to pay $500 to water it properly.
Kidder and I had a little discussion about his lawn last night, and we were trying to figure out a plan on how to least destroy the front lawn in order to repair the backyard. But unfortunately, he doesn't have very good access to his backyard with any kind of actual equipment. So I'm going to have to drive across his lawn repeatedly with a tractor in order to fix the backyard. So there's a possibility that we might kill a small portion of the front yard as well.
Or we just take out the P rock and go over there,
I was going to say, take the time, dig a moat, man. Have a moat around your place.
That sounds like a
could do
good
that on
idea
the
to
edge of
me.
the property.
That'd be great. I mean, you of course probably have kids jumping over your moat all the time.
I'd play in your moat.
Here's the
Or
thing.
peeing in the moat.
If they're jumping over the moat, then they're on my property, and that's a problem. But the peeing on there, then that's a whole separate problem.
I'll pee in your moat.
Listen, don't threaten me with a good time.
Yes. Yes. No, sorry to hear about your lawn, man. That's I know that's your pride and joy.
It's a thing that needs to get mowed every however long. Is what it is.
I got plans to get mine this weekend.
I would like it to look better in the back. So then, when I look out over the deck and I see a nice golf course lawn. But like I said, I also don't want to spend $500 a month to make it look that way.
Also, let's put it in the correct context. When you, as a lord of the lawn, look out over your kingdom. Yeah, let's get the verbiage right here, man. Let's.
Thank you for adding that in.
Well, listen. I went so far as to create the Lords of Lawn. I, demand that they use the branding. Yes, that'll work. Don't know if I will paint this because who's ever going to see it? But the joys of model kits.
What's the most complicated one you've put together?
The most complicated model kit I've put together. That's a good question. I've done the Titanic.
In floating version or in wrecked version?
Floating version.
Ah.
It needs some work though, because So here's the truth. Like, I got it to the point where it's like assembled to the point of painting it. I started painting it, got really mad at myself for how I painted it because it was not to my standard. And so it got to go take a bath in green or in simple green so I could strip the paint, and has been living in a Rubbermaid box waiting for the day that I'm decided to tackle it again. It's one of those I need to find the time to finish. But I was so angry at the paint job on it that I was just like, nope, it's not happening.
So you could do an updated version of it broken in half on the seafloor. You could put your anchor of the dam there, and then you could add a little Ocean Gate submarine.
I figured that's where you were going.
I mean, or just, some pieces of an Ocean Gate submarine and maybe a little, pink spot on the side of the hull.
It's one of those. I'll get back to it. I bought it back when I was still kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with the whole hobby and such. So, I was like, oh, model kits, these could be fun. And I picked up my first few, and it's like, I don't really like the painting of the models in this sense as much as I do painting figures, but it's all part of the thing. Painting the figures, it's a little bit different. Here's why. So let me grab one. Well, that's one that's going to show up well on camera. This one might. So when painting a figure, in this case, I have this well. It's got all of this small detail that I can play around with in what I do with it. Whereas this is a solid piece of just smooth plastic. And so to make it interesting is a very different kind of skill set in what you have to do. And that's what I don't necessarily enjoy. I like the small, I like more detail because I can play around with it more.
You can pinstripe the hell out of that thing and make it like a G-Wagon. Make some custom pinstriping going all the way down the sides. I mean, you could rock that boat out.
So JS, you'll have to go back and watch this, but Future Howard will put it in. Some photos of the Bison Mobile, which is a 1960s Woody wagon that I did. Mm-hmm. And to give you an idea, like the level of detail that I pushed myself to, it came with water decals for the wood paneling on the doors. I didn't use them. I hand painted the wood paneling on it.
Nice.
There is stuff in the side view mirrors. There's stuff in the rear view mirror. It is pinstriped, which was I did all freehand. Even the inside wood is wood grained that I did. So I can do level of detail. I just don't always enjoy it. If that makes sense.
All right, understandable.
Okay, part 26. No, the model kit that I want to get, I need to find again and purchase. When I was a kid, my parents had bought me a model kit that was the Rebel base, and it was from Star Wars, and it was just this awesome kit. It had a Millennium Falcon in it, and all these pieces. And I remember kind of putting it together a little bit, and I remember doing a little bit of painting on it, and then I don't know whatever happened to it. And there's a part of me that wants to go out and try and see if I can find it somewhere. Because now that I do this as a true hobby, I would love to take an actual shot at redoing it. So that's on my wish list of things to to find and eventually get, but it might take me a bit before I actually do that. Okay, this goes like that.
I'll keep my eye out at the random rummage sales we're at. You never know what you find.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, and I do, not that I go to a lot of rummage sales, but I do try to keep an eye out when I do go for model kits, because if I can find, a model kit, I might not actually assemble the actual kit as presented, but it also gives me parts to use in some of my other projects.
It's true. So I did the math, and I think I missed one or two, but I have, let's see what comes up again here, 2,832 individual shots in this Roman candle redneck edition.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot. And you said that each Roman candle was somewhere in what, the 150 to 200? Was that?
Well, there's 32 of them in here. There are several of them that are 250. There's three or four of them that are like 180, between 180 and 196. There's a couple of them that are 50. There's a bunch of 10s that are all taped in here, and then there's one that's 666.
Yeah, that's going to be an impressive boom.
I will make sure to record it, at least to the best of my ability, but it should be pretty cool. I don't know when exactly I'm going to light this thing off, but
just make sure you have it properly weighted down and spiked. And I know you already kind of have it planned how to do that, but still.
I have a 50-pound piece of galvanized steel tubing with a 2-foot long, 1-inch diameter shaft coming out of the end of it that I'm going to sledgehammer into the ground that is all welded together. And then all of these are duct taped to said giant chunk of steel. It ain't going anywhere.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
One of the first, it was one of the early fireworks things that I did with my wife. My brother-in-law worked at a fireworks stand. And so that he felt that made him an expert when it came to fireworks. And so he proceeded to purchase a bunch for our entertainment one year. And he didn't weigh it down. And so the thing literally tipped and actually started shooting fireworks back at all of us who were assembled. Kidder will know who Sioux is. Sioux had driven his mom's minivan to come join us, and that got hit by one of the shots, and literally put a dent in it. It was quite the experience, and the best part was my in-laws had invited some family friends and their little guys over to watch it. And the little guys, after that whole thing, you might have thought they were traumatized. I mean, they literally had shots shooting like directly over their head. But they were sitting there chanting, light it, blow it up after that. So it was quite the ordeal, but we've never really let my brother-in-law live that down, that he pretty much nearly injured somebody because he thought he was such a expert.
We had some fun one year. We went to my wife's hometown, and it's a pretty small town, but we went out to the local dam to shoot our fireworks off, and we had a bunch of artillery shells, and we thought it'd be a good idea to put a rock under the corner of the tube so it would shoot out over the dam. And so we shot one of them off, or several of them off side by side, and one of them went off a little bit before the rest of them. And the shock from that one was enough to knock the rock out from underneath some of the other ones, and they fell over and pointed back at us. Yeah, that wasn't very fun either.
Yeah, I I sent Kidder a video tonight of that somebody had posted of their fireworks mishap. So that was another one of, again, didn't weigh it down. The thing shot a shot right at people, and it ignited their box of fireworks.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Was that the one by the minivan?
I can't remember if there's a minivan in it. But
We had one in Lincoln that did that. A relative of ours, everybody had brought a bunch of fireworks over. There were a large gathering of fireworks in his garage, and he had gotten some bootleg fireworks from the reservation. So they had some snort to them. They also tipped over when you shot them, and it was a multi-shot. And after about the third shot, the thing tipped over and faced right towards the open garage full of fireworks and started dumping shot after shot after shot into this garage. Lit the entire stash on fire. That was the best fireworks show I have ever seen. However, the inside of the garage didn't fare too well. When I saw it tip over, I turned my back to it and stood in front of it and took 2 or 3 of them so that my wife could get my child out of there. And then from there, at least proceeded to usher everybody else out of the way, because there was no getting that fire under control for a little while. I did manage to get a small video of it until it lit the insulation on fire, and I had to go put it out with my child's baby blanket. We still have that blanket, by the way.
When I was a kid, we went, one of the places my parents would take us for the fireworks display every year was Lead, South Dakota, because there they do the fireworks over the Homestake open pit. So it's a old kind of strip mine. But what it does is that when they launch these fireworks, it goes right over the pit, and it basically works like an amplifier. So it's really loud. But we had, we had some bad showings there. There was the year that it was so cloudy that they didn't know if they could actually put on a show. They fired one up into the sky to see. And if you've ever seen a firework go off in a cloud, it turns the whole sky green. It was because it was a green firework, but it's just the whole sky went. It was awesome. But they did the one. Cool. It was kind of cool, but then they decided no, that's not worth it. So they didn't do that one that night. They rescheduled, which was sad. But the worst one was, and I was there for it. The show was going on. It hadn't gone on for very long. Maybe 5 minutes was it, and all of a sudden, the point where they light these things from, just exploded in colors, and they had a spark light off all of what they had on this point where the people were, and it went off like crazy, and then and it's it was only 5 minutes in, so you're like, wow, what's the finale going to be? And then you just see the ambulance making its way up the hill to my parents are like, that was the finale. And you just, as a kid, you're like, oh, it's over, not realizing somebody is probably pretty hurt up there.
I started round 5, and I grabbed the blue can of the Finnish long drink. This is terrible. The red can is amazing. This is, I don't know, there's some weird funk going on with this, because it's
I blame what you drank before it.
It's stale Christmas tree with grapefruit and a little bit of a hint of berry underneath it. It's I do not like this. I'm gonna go a solid 0.5 on this one.
Well, that's
that is horrible.
That's interesting.
I was a big fan of the red one. I really liked that one. Said it might have had something to do with the combination that I got going on right now, but it is not good.
Gonna say that I would blame the combination on that because I actually really like that one. Oh, I finally got the fire extinguisher in on this thing. Ugh, anyway, yes, I'm still working on this thing. I'm almost done. I'm getting there.
I'm impressed.
It's labor of I wouldn't say love, but of pride, something like that. But
like I said, that was a total content beer.
Oh,
I didn't want to drink more than one.
I totally get it. The only beer that I have not finished on this show was the I think it was like the Black Butte Porter, and it was because I had a really old one and it had gotten very skunky. That's the only one that I have thrown out. Otherwise, I have finished everything that I have ever had on this show. Even though I should not have finished the juice that I drank. No. But I will get through this because so.
And you are correct. That was the long route peanut butter porter. Or no, you said a Black Butte Porter, didn't you?
I mean, listen, there's a reason. There's a reason we have a spreadsheet.
I know Kidder's dumped at least one too, so I think he might have dumped two of them, but I don't remember for sure.
Kidder has given up on a few more than I have.
He didn't finish the pickle beer because he mixed the pickle beer with some chelada or some tomato juice.
He tried to make it into a Bloody Mary.
Yes.
Here's the thing, and I don't blame Kidder one bit for this because when we started the whole weird content beer things, this was a totally a me thing. It started in episode 5, and it was just like, well, if I'm gonna have a drink, it'd be fun to do something of content. Kidder has nicely played along with it, but I don't expect him to necessarily always go with the weird stuff. Somebody's got to have the classy beverages on this show. That's the role Kidder plays. And sometimes he gets a little adventurous. Not always. But, if somebody's going to have the good drink on the show, it's usually him.
I try to bring good stuff once in a while, but
yeah.
That one I had 3 beers that I needed to find somebody else to help me drink.
Listen, I totally get it. I'm guilty of doing that myself. I will pawn beers off on people. It's been known to happen. So it's all part of it. But yeah, no, there's nothing that says that, we're going to drink terrible stuff on here, or that if you do get something terrible, you have to finish it.
I threw some pictures of my creation in there for you, so you can see just kind of how sketchy this thing is.
Yeah, excellent. We will add those into the show.
Yes. Gear lube is what this thing smells like. This long drink. I took me a minute to figure it out, but it smells like gear lube, and it's not me because I washed my hands after work.
Now I just kind of feel like you're being insulting, man.
I'm sorry, but every time I take a drink of this, I get a blast of gear lube right in the face. I'm having a hell of a time just finishing it. Oofda.
Well, a long drink.
On this slightly controversial take from JS, Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while, and it's probably time we wrap this up so that some of us can go to sleep. I have a feeling others of us will keep drinking. To wrap this up, we should finish the show with some classy cheap plugs, like the new thumbnail on episode 8.
I mean, if I didn't have to get up to drive in 7 hours, I would continue drinking. However, instead, I will say buy us a beer for next week. And how can you do that? You go to beerbluesbs.com. 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 It's right here on the bottom of your screen. You're watching the video version of this. And if you're listening to us, it's also in the show notes. So please visit our website. Buy us a beer. Beerbluesbs.com. Very easy. It's available for you anytime of the day or night. Beerbluesbs.com. Also, while you're on the website, you can visit us, the links for the merch store. We have lots of great things on the merch store, like t-shirts, shower curtains, bed comforters, pint glasses. Yes, great pint glasses, like the Kidder's perfect old-fashioned recipe with no cherry. The Howard's Cave of Wonder. Howard's got that rolling up there. The Triple B Classic version, like Mr. Boucher likes to enjoy and take a look at. Also, perhaps you would like to have this one. I'll have a water with hops and grain. The classy Triple B logo on the back. Look at that. Yep. Or like Local Geeks got over there. It's been a week.
I do have the It's Been a Week glass.
That's pretty much the perfect beer drinking glass right there. It's been a week. How can you solve your problems? Sit at home and have a classy beverage with your good brothers. And by doing that, well, we'd love for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. You can also like, follow, and share. That would be sweet. We would appreciate that. Sharing is caring. Get us out there to the people, if you know what I mean. Also, we are on Facebook and Instagram. Like the pages, follow the pages, help us get in front of more people there too, because again, sharing is caring, and we want to share the humor with everybody. Let's see what else is out there. Every audio service, we are there, including Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, TuneIn, Stitcher, IMDb, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts. Oh, man, we are pretty much anywhere. So if you like listening to the audio podcasts and you have a favorite service, search for us, Beer, Blues, and BS. I know if you've made it to this part of the video, you probably have already found us. But if you have any and all of those services, like and share and subscribe for free on those too, because, well, you help get our numbers up, and we do appreciate you being part of the Triple B family. So I think that's pretty cheap right there. Otherwise, Howard's Cave of Wonder, watch his videos on YouTube. Those videos are there. We have some other good stuff coming up later this summer with the Kidder's Captain's Log returning. Yeah, there's some breaking news for you. With a 2-month head start. Well, more like 1 month, because time flies when you're having fun. Other than that, man, closing thoughts. Let's go around the room, around the bar with closing thoughts. JS.
If you're gonna light fireworks, don't teabag an artillery show.
It's good. Very ballsy of you. Local Geek.
Yeah, so the It's Been a Week glass, I didn't even cover why it's been a week, but the little guy, he's been having some real struggles at bedtime where he'll come out of his room 5, 6, 7, a dozen times a night with different excuses why he can't sleep. And tonight he didn't come out from what my wife tells me and didn't notice anything on the camera. So I think he actually stayed in bed tonight for the first time in almost a week without coming out once. That was kind of nice.
Very good. I like it. Very good. Howard Blues.
Hey, for once I'm prepared for final thoughts. Kidder, hey, congratulations to us, because it just so happens that this week we crossed the 3,000 download mark on our audio podcast. So our show has been downloaded over 3,000 times. Thank you to everybody who has taken the time to download and listen to us and take us with you wherever you go. So
That
kudos
would be
to
JS
us.
Gunslinger. Thank you for all the downloads.
Hey, we have a big following in Pennsylvania. Big following in Pennsylvania.
I didn't know you were out east. Oh, you were visiting the
around.
Constitution, right?
I
He's
get
got a
around.
botnet.
Man, he gets everywhere. All right. Well, thanks for listening to us on the audio version. Thanks for watching us on the video version. For JS Gunslinger, for the local geek, for Howard Blues, I'm the man, the myth, legend, Mark Kidder. Howard Blues is still figuring out what the hell makes a gas truck go. See you in the next episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. Keep your glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow. And yeah, we will catch you on down that steamy Tuscan highway. Have a good one. Happy Independence Day, America.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
So is it just me, or does the mystery package that Kidder drop off reek of JS?
Yeah, it does a little bit now that you say that.
I mean, the blazing hunter's orange and camo wrapping makes me think that JS is involved.
Right. Yeah, until you said something that didn't occur to me, but yeah, it definitely does feel that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think I kind of thought that because I went and I looked and I'm like, huh, because he just put it in my fridge.
Oh, sure.
So I just gave him my access code and I let him into my garage.
At least he was able to get it in the fridge for you if you're drinking it tonight.
I wasn't planning on drinking it tonight. That was kind of why I was like, what are we doing? You know, because like, that's a lot of beer to kind of get out of, you know, between the shandy and then he brings the mystery beer.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, what's the plan here? I don't want to have to run up mid-show to get something. Yeah, that kind of makes some earlier theories correct, doesn't it, Local Geek?
Mm-hmm.
And what theories might those be?
Well, just the fact that the type of beer that you dropped off with the hunter orange and camo wrapping that I said, I believe that JS is probably involved. But now here's the thing. You didn't respond to my text, so I don't have that beer down here.
I was driving, and unlike the rest of America, I drive safely on the roads and do not text and drive.
Listen, I get that and I appreciate that.
No, you don't.
But you've also been home for a while and you could have said something. You've also, and I have it on recording of you sitting here not answering, not responding as I tried to talk to you. You could have said something, kidder.
That's because I didn't have the audio settings correct. So I didn't even hear you talking until Local Geek went, yeah, when you get the settings changed correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So now I have to ask, do I need to go up and get that?
I think you should.
There you go.
You'll enjoy it this time.
Like I believe that. Okay.
I'll make you a promise. It's not a Four Loko.
Is it a novelty?
You'll find out. It's not a Four Loko.
I have a theory as to what it could be, just from what I've seen posted on Facebook by one of the local liquor stores.
Oh?
Okay. I'll be right back.
Are we starting off with that?
I'm guessing so.
All right, I'll go get mine too.
I'm gonna go put one of these tasty shandies back.